Welcome to Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Mitch Kushturian from Exotic Living in Sydney. Mitch is a landscape designer and builder, and he's in a partnership with his brother. He's a carpenter as well. So they're in the business. They do carpentry, design, construction, and maintenance as well with their best mate. And they've only been going about 3 years. So it was great to talk to him and hear the things that he's doing well so early in the business. So he's very switched on. So he's doing job tracking. He early on he worked out the type of work that they want to do. So they've made a plan to work on how they do that. Only posting the type of jobs that he wants to do more of, which is the high end stuff. So it's tricky to do early on doing high end projects, but they got lucky early on with a nice one, and they've continued on from there. So it was good talking to someone so new in the business, but learning things that a lot of businesses wish they knew when they started off. So yeah, really good chat with Mitch. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Mitch Kushturian. Mitch, thank you very much for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. So the first question I've got for you is how you started in the industry.
That's right, mate. Thanks for asking. Pretty stoked. When I was younger, I just think I used to work in my grandparents' garden a fair bit, like a lot of landscapers and stuff like that. And then as I got older, just always really enjoyed it. And then in high school, ended up doing work experience in just a nursery. But that was probably just a little bit too slow for me. And then in year 10, it was still wanted to do landscaping. I was physically probably just too small. I felt like I was too small. So then now picking a couple of subjects, that kind of aligned with the trade. And then by year 12, got a job with an apprentice agency. And then, got a job with an apprentice agency. It was just like a small family business. I worked with them for about 10 years. Oh. And then probably about five of those years was as a foreman. And then just kind of got to the point where probably wasn't getting as much out of work as what I could, like passion. I was probably losing the passion a fair bit, and just the environment wasn't the best. Kind of felt like I was contributing like probably a bit more than what my bosses were, and felt like I could probably give it a crack myself, like a lot of people. And then at the same time, my brother, he purchased a house, and we ended up doing his deck, building the deck and doing his landscaping, and it turned out all right. And surprisingly, we ended up working pretty good together. And then he was also having issues with his boss, where his payments were always a bit slow and a bit late, and just like timing, like anything really. We ended up hitting him up and decided to give it a crack ourselves. That was about 3 years ago now.
All right. So when you say it was for an apprentice agency, what do you mean by that?
So they find you the job and end up dealing with your boss and everything like that, and then they'll send you to interviews, and then they're in charge of your pay all the time too. So it's not directly through your boss, just so it was a lot more structured and a lot safer. I thought it was pretty good, and yeah, being a bit young and probably shy too.
Yeah,
it was easy getting a job.
So did you work for one company through them? Did that make sense?
Yep, that's for one company.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like working for a small family business, you don't know the number, and you get your hands on. You have a go at doing everything, which was great. And two of them, they kind of trust you, become part of the family.
Yeah.
And trusted us, put us on as a woman pretty young, which was throwing the deep end at sometimes, but it kind of pays off. Yeah, it definitely ends up paying off.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in the early days when I was an employee before, so when I was in my first year apprenticeship, my boss had me in charge of we had some labourers on for a bigger job, and he had me in charge of them, and I hated it. But I realised later on that it was actually good for me to do. Like you learn a lot, getting thrown in the deep end. Yeah,
definitely. It was probably a few days spent on YouTube and stuff like that, trying to find out how to do some things and stuff like that. But that all pays off, especially now. Like you got to teach yourself so many things running the business, and all those skills definitely come in hand.
So what was your brother doing? So was he doing landscaping as well?
He's a carpenter. So he probably finished his trade probably a couple of years after me, and he is a bit of a freak on the tools. It definitely comes more natural to him than it does me. Oh. But we end up sharing the business as directors, and works out all right. Like we've got different skills, probably a bit more business orientated, and brain probably functions a bit better in those ways. So kind of lean on each other's positives and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Definitely makes it heaps easier. Couldn't imagine trying to run it on my own.
It's a familiar story. People who are in partnerships or who have been, and Mon Palmer said it last week. She was in one that didn't work out because they had the same skill set. So the fact that you've got a different one, and you can sort of work into the other ones. The strength of one person is the weakness of the other. That works out. Must be why it works out well.
Yeah, I think at the start, there's definitely kind of teething issues and stuff like that. Like I'd probably work a lot later at night when I came home from work. Some of the mornings I'd probably get to work a little bit later than him, and he's kind of cracking the whip on me. And then you just figuring out each other's roles, and giving each other space to do what you're good at, as opposed to just stepping back when you need to step back. Then end up have too many cooks in the kitchen, really. Sometimes.
Yeah, and like running any business, even if it's by yourself, you're still learning stuff in the first 3 years. So it's going to be no different if you add an extra director in there. So I saw that you do. So on your website it says you do landscaping, carpentry, and so you do design, construction, and also maintenance. So how does that all work? All three.
So we got so my brother, he'll run like the carpentry side, and then I do the landscape and landscape design side, and then he'll jump in and help me. Most of the time we'll try to run one job, and then every so often go to two. And then we've got another employee, our best mate. He does the property maintenance, so he'll just run all of that, and then deals with his own clients and stuff like that, like under our banner. And then I'll do like the bookworking side of things for him. And then we just get like a small cut of whatever he makes, and then he'll float and do his jobs, and then jump over and helps me sometimes, or Roller needs a hand, and then another employee too. So we just kind of, suppose having like three smaller businesses, we just kind of have the one, and then everyone kind of floats between each other, helping each other out, and like I was saying before, just kind of lean each other's strengths and stuff like that.
Yeah, perfect. That's good. So you've got people who have got their strengths, but then they've also got the skills so you can float into other jobs and help out. So that works. That must work out well.
Yeah, it works out pretty good. And working with your brother and your best mate and stuff like that too. Like, who else do you trust more than those people? So it makes work easier too. Like when you're stressing or a job's probably not going on a plan, probably lean on them. It's heaps easier to lean on them than if they were employees. Like I'd be reluctant to open up how you're feeling, or if something's going a bit tough, you might try to wear the burden a little bit harder, I think.
Yeah, and they're seeing it as well from the inside about, if you're struggling with something, they're going to be, they'll sort of pick it up more so than what any other employee would.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like I think just since we're all comfortable with each other as well, and being around clients, since we're comfortable, it doesn't take long for the clients to be really comfortable with us as well, which is nice. I think kind of plays to the fact that everyone's very similar.
So how many employees do you have outside of the other two?
Just one more. So there's like 4 to 5 all up.
There you are. You're doing some nice work early on.
What about yourself, Joe? How many guys do you have?
At the moment, I got 2 qualified. We had more on probably 3 months ago. I reckon we had 4. But now I've gone back to 2, try and be a bit leaner and basically start again to try and work out what the best number is to have on site and the best makeup. So, hopefully that works out. But being small, there's nothing wrong with being smaller. You get through things slower, but there's no point just getting through jobs just to get through jobs. Yeah.
We're not really interested in growing too big. Like we're kind of maybe one more carpenter would be ideal, and then probably like sit at that. Like, because ideally don't want to get too big. We really enjoy doing the work. We love doing the work, so kind of don't want to stretch away from that. And listen to your other podcasts and stuff like that, hearing what all the other guys say about once you're getting too big, and then you're hiring other people to manage other workers and stuff like that. That kind of doesn't really appeal to us too much. We kind of prefer that real boutique style and being more hands-on. Yeah,
you've got a good setup where you could grow because you've got the 3 people who are basically running the business. So it's you could have a couple on each if that's what you wanted to do. So it's good that you got the options there, because one of the hardest things is having people who can manage the site the way you'd want it done. So you've got the 3 there, the 3 of you who could do that. So that's good that you got that option. So with the design, are you doing designs as well?
Yep. Studied landscape design just through online, like TAFE online, a couple of years ago.
Yep.
That was all right. Probably I didn't get quite as much out of it as like what I would have hoped for. Just being online, it was kind of a bit harder dealing with the teachers. They couldn't really communicate too good with them. Then there was times where there'd be no teacher at all. You just kind of have to send in your assessments and it just get marked. And once finished the course, definitely still learn and do stuff like that. Like end up signing up for previous guest Mon Palmer's did an online masterclass with the SketchUp. That was awesome. I love that. That was great. All her videos and it's made heaps easy to learn. We're a lot more personable, I found.
Yeah.
And,
So do you use SketchUp? Do you?
Yeah. So yeah, generally just AutoCAD for like the 2Ds and stuff like that, and then a little bit of SketchUp, and then for the presentations, I'll just use like Canva, the graphic design website online for more like mood boarding and plant profiles and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. You just use SketchUp for the 3D, do you?
Yep. Just imported it from the AutoCAD and around in SketchUp.
Yeah, nice. Do you use Layout at all?
Is that no, I don't think so. Is that the 2D version of SketchUp?
Yeah, because that's something I was looking at using SketchUp initially, and then they said you could use Layout for the 2D part of it, but it didn't seem as easy as what I would have liked. It's almost easier doing the 3D design than actually converting it to 2D, which you need to be able to work off.
Yeah, I found SketchUp pretty the 3D version, pretty easy to pick up on. It's pretty surprising.
And so did you learn a lot from doing Mon's course?
I thought it was great. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, just like all the videos and stuff like that, real clear. It didn't really feel like you were learning. Opposed to say that more structured like tape style, everything's a lot more spreadsheets and being harder to talk to the teachers and ask questions. Probably if I could do it again, I probably would have went into class. Just to get that. Like you think teachers give you that off the cuff tips and stuff like that just when they're talking. Yeah, and that's what I found in Mons when she was doing a video. She was just kind of like talking through it and stuff would come to her and a couple of tips and stuff like that.
Are you going to look at doing like using Lumion or anything to go crazy with the 3D side of things?
End up messaging someone from out of house to look to do those designs. Just kind of want to sort out like the pricing and stuff like that with clients and just being able to present it to them properly first, and then definitely look to do that in the next couple of months.
So what sort of breakdown is your workday like design compared to construction? Do you have certain days where you're doing designs and book work, or do you like most people you just do whatever you can?
No, I'm just one of those suckers that does it at 10 o'clock at night. When I get home from work, get a bit of spare time. Rain days help too.
You've had plenty of them.
Yeah. But it helps, like, since I love doing it, it's one of those things, like, you know, when everyone kind of says, like, hard work or stuff like that. But I'm like, sure, you understand where, like, it doesn't really feel like it's like work, or you don't feel like you're working hard just because you enjoy doing it so much. So definitely makes it 10 times easier.
Yep. Have you got a wife and kids or any family at home?
No. I just live with a flatmate. The flatmate actually, he's Tom, who runs the maintenance side. So work with him, live with him.
Yeah, that makes it easier as well.
It's good too, because he'll do the cooking or something like that, and I'll sit there and do the quotes and designs. He knows if that's not getting done, none of us got any money for food. So it makes a good thing.
Nice. Now, when I first met you, it was at the block in 2020, I think. Was that?
Yeah, a couple of years.
So that was early on in your. So you've only been going 3 years. So you got into that real early. So how did that come about?
It was the bushfires down the east coast. Like, it would have been like 2020. Now, when the bushfires hit pretty bad, like all down the east coast, I was part of like some Facebook group. It was like fires for affected area, tradies for affected areas or something like that. And I saw Dave Franklin posted in there saying about going down to a primary school to do it up that'd been damaged. So just hit him up and then ended up volunteering down there for about a week or so. Met Dave and redid the school and everything like that. And then a few months later, he ended up giving us a buzz and asked if we wanted to come down to Melbourne to work on the block. So it was pretty unreal, pretty stoked, and heaps grateful to Dave for asking us. It's a good little confidence booster, especially when you're starting your business after only having it for maybe like 6 months or something like that. So Yeah, it's awesome.
I saw that when you're working at that school in Mogo, the weather didn't look too kind to you then either. It was a bit wet.
Oh, it was an absolute slog. It was pumping down rain, and I think for about like 4 days, and just walking around with 10 kilos of mud on your boots, and yeah, it was a bit of a slog.
Yeah,
but not managed to get it done.
I don't mind days like that when you're walking in mud though, because I get to be 6 foot for a day, so it's nice.
Yeah, I feel you too.
So how was your experience on the block? Like, had you watched much of it before going there?
When I was heaps younger, I think I used to watch it, but I probably hadn't seen it for a few years. I'd always just kind of stuff on Instagram, like the landscaping week, stuff like that. But yeah, we loved it. Like, it's just awesome being around so many people that are also passionate, hard work, and like just passionate about what they do too. So everyone you meet is just have a good time. Like for us, it's just a good time. It's a little bit of a boys trip going away down to Melbourne and work hard during the day and go out to dinner at night and kind of if we go down, we really make the most out of going down. Like talk to everyone and ask for any tips from all the other tradies and blokes on site, and did a couple of suppliers down at Melbourne while we're there. Yeah, no, I think everyone probably has their own opinion of the block and maybe expectations it has for clients and things, but yeah, we definitely love the opportunity of going.
And did you
enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, because I'm very competitive, so I like the opportunity of being able to win something. Because you don't get that in the normal day-to-day landscaping. And yeah, I'd been a fan of the show beforehand. Like I used to like watching it, especially the landscaping weeks. So yeah, I was keen to see what it was like on the inside, and I was surprised that, like, I don't know what your opinion is, but I felt like what they show on TV is actually, they make it look easier than what it is, which I would have thought would be the opposite. So you enjoyed it enough to go back again the year after? Did you learn anything in the first year that helped you in the second year?
Yeah, I probably learned that it's a TV show, not a job site. So when the cameras are around, that's a priority, and trying to stay out of their way and all the sound guys' way. Yeah, so like the second year we ended up going down. That was from the previous year. We met Jason from Cutting Landscapes. He also worked for Dave, and he got the opportunity next year and asked us to come along again. So yeah, kind of jumped at it and come back to the second year, worked with a lot of the same trades. So it was kind of that, I guess it was like when you come back from school after a new year and you've seen all your old mates again and stuff like that. Like the first day was great, catching up with everyone. So yeah, it's just a great atmosphere and a great environment to learn from all the other trades. And the guys there, like a lot of other trades there, they're freaks. Like work with like Ollie from Hungry Wolf, like getting to see him do this stuff's bizarre, and all like the stonemasons and stuff like that. And yeah, all the designers you get to see walking around. Like I'm a bit of a landscaping fanboy too, so seeing guys like Steve Taylor and kind of find it a little bit intimidating. And it's awesome just seeing those guys walk around. Yeah, just walking around.
Yeah, the garden show is similar, because where there's just the people who go there, that there's people you see there sort of every year. And it's awesome because it's the same as the block. Everyone just enjoys being there. Like there's some who don't, obviously, but the majority of people are just there. They'll help out everyone. So if you were struggling, they had time, that you'd get helped out. So did you catch up with Hopkins Construction at all there this year? Because it seems like your business is similar to his in terms of doing carpentry and landscaping.
Yeah, last year when we went down, they did like one of the TimberTech board bending sessions at his workshop while we were down there. So my brother, the carpenter, he went out there and stuck around for a tutorial and had a good chat and met all the boys. And yeah, he's a good bloke, I think. Yeah, similar to us as well, like you're saying. Yeah, carpentry and landscaping based.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because like some landscapers can do carpentry, but it's it makes sense to have a separate arm, so then you can niche off into either one if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I used to think I was all right at carpentry and doing decks and stuff like that, so I started working with my brother. But he's carpenters is something else, and definitely deserve their own respect for what they do.
Yeah, I think landscapers are like that in most things, like because we do just a bit of it, pretty much everything. If you work with someone who just does that trade, you're obviously not going to be as good as them most of the time. So would you go back to the block again this year if you got asked?
Yeah, we'll definitely go. Yeah, we have got the opportunity, we definitely jump at it. It throws us out for our work a fair bit, probably puts us out for like a month.
Yeah.
Just by the time we go down for the week and then we come back home, maybe work like a day or two, and then go back down to Melbourne to do the second week. And by the time I finish that and come back home that fourth week, we're pretty wrecked and just probably stay in the fetal position and take the week off. We definitely jumped at the opportunity. I always feel like going down and doing it. In like 3 years' time, our business will be at a better point than it is now, just from going down and working around all the people down there and meeting people and stuff like that. So, like realistically, like running our own jobs, we don't meet too many other people or many other trades, and we go down there for like 2 weeks and you end up with like 30 new mates. It's awesome.
Have you got any work out of it or any other benefits from back in New South Wales?
I don't know about like direct work from it, like people like seeing you. I don't think that really happens too much. We'll see you in the background and end up giving you a call. But I just sticking it on the website, and a lot of clients do, like past and current ones and stuff like that. They love seeing you on there, get a good kick out of it, and just the confidence we get out of going down there and learning from everyone definitely ends up paying off. We always come back feeling like we're skilled up, definitely leveled up opposed to when we left. So definitely jump at the chance if we have the opportunity again. Yeah,
it's good also seeing the other way people do things as well. I find so because there's more than one way to skin a cat. So it's good to learn the way different businesses do the same thing that you do.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I saw on your Instagram that about 6 months ago you're in the Milwaukee Build of the Year.
Yeah,
and you had a curved deck in there. We'd had curved joists as well. So how did you curve the joists for that?
So that was my brother. He ended up when I designed it, I just thought, I didn't think he'd like curve the joists or anything like that. I thought he just did the joists as like diagonals. I hadn't really thought about it. That's the way it generally works. I'll design something and then I'll take it to him and say like, all right, how do we build this now? So that's how it But I think I ended up using marine ply and had a molding and cut strips of that, and then curving it and then laminating it together and then bolting them and then waterproofing it. Yeah, it was quite a process. I was pretty impressed. So just like those finer details, just so that screw line of the decking board can go curved with the arc as well. But it surprised me with that one too.
So is that just a normal job that you entered into that competition, or did you design it specifically for the competition?
Design it specifically, more for like with the Landscape Association up here. That was kind of what I was more aiming for with that one. And then I think like a lot of people, those portfolio jobs, they're not making too much money off it. So really try to get our value out of it and enter it into any competition we can kind of find. But end up winning a few Milwaukee tools, which was nice.
Nice. Is that your brand anyway?
Milwaukee? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, they're pretty good tools. They're pretty lucky.
That's good. So you didn't have to buy 10 new batteries for your new tools.
Yeah, it all ends up adding up. I think we ended up winning a pretty good pack out kit as well. So I think there's like a couple of grand there. So pretty lucky.
A couple of grand just in batteries for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Something else on your website, it's a phenomenal project is the main photo that's on there. It's got like a raised planter box in the front yard with some natural stone walls and natural stone steppers with Pradia in between them.
Oh yeah, the tropical garden. Yep.
Yeah, like that was a pretty cool design as well. So did you design that as well?
Yeah. So that was our first project we ever did. That was for that was a big one. But that was for our family friends. So really, really, really lucky and like heaps grateful for them because just to trust us that much on our first project too. Yeah, and how it turned out, it was just like a mad confidence booster for the start of the business. Yeah, pretty big project for the start. Up near, I think years or something like that. But
it's all downhill.
But it was pretty straightforward. There wasn't too much to it. Just a lot of retaining walls and heap of stone cladding. I think I was doing stone cladding for a couple of months and another one, probably one of those portfolio jobs where you don't probably make the money that you should. But I think when I started the business, we really kind of set out the work we wanted to do and what we wanted out of the business, and to kind of do that, we wanted to do that kind of like high-end boutique, kind of like different work. I didn't really want to focus on that service-based type landscaping. So to do that, I thought we'd have to do a couple of jobs, not make much money and stuff like that, just so we can get the portfolio to then in time get the kind of work that we want to do and eventually start making some money.
Yeah. That definitely would do it, that job, because that's like a real wow moment when you see it on the website. So the fact that that was your first one is lucky, but yeah, that's the thing. You want to if you're wanting to get that type of work, that's the type of photos you want to post. You don't want to post if you're doing just a basic backyard that only costs $5,000. Because even though people like to post content just for the sake of it, but if you're targeting certain jobs, there's no point posting the type of work you don't want to be getting.
Yeah, I definitely find that. Yeah, be a little bit particular with the stuff we post, and find to end up waiting a fair bit. Like we'll complete a job, and then maybe like a year later, I'll end up posting the pictures just because I don't want to kind of post anything like half baked or anything like that. I think to just being like real sure of the type of work we want to do, and I think kind of got to be a little bit disciplined sometimes and say no to some stuff just so you can keep kind of getting that type of work. But yeah, really lucky, and heaps shocked at kind of the point where the jobs we get to do already after 3 years. Yeah, heaps stoked. Just great for everyone that's helped us like get to this point. Like our family, friends from giving us that project, or blokes like Dave for getting us down on the block and stuff like that. So pretty proud, but also grateful too.
Yeah, should be, because it looks awesome, and the fact that I can't believe that was your first project. So, what sort of work were you doing for the company you were working for? Was it high end stuff, or was it a bit of everything?
Not really high end. Not for maybe like right near the end when I left. It was more kind of that service based stuff, and then maybe the last like 2 years or year, it started to move into that like high end design stuff. But work that was like other people's designs and stuff like that. Those jobs I think are maybe around like 100, 150. But yeah, that experience definitely kind of paid off for now.
So do you build any gardens designed by other designers?
Nah, not really. Just like I kind of had the opportunity, like in the past when I was doing someone else I did, but just kind of don't really enjoy doing that type of stuff too much, just because I don't want to build it incorrectly, or I know what I'm like sometimes. I got an idea in my head and want it to turn out like exactly as I see it, and I'd kind of feel a bit funny about building someone else's thing and not building it exactly how they kind of see it and how they envision it. And two, just kind of want to do like stick to the work that we enjoy doing, and like we love building and designing the jobs. Just kind of try to stick to that.
Yep. So how did you go with the rains recently with the flooding? Did that affect you a lot?
Nah, pretty sweet. No, nowhere near us. So pretty lucky. Oh. We're kind of based like the North Shore, so pretty close to the city, and then maybe about half an hour, 40 minutes out. So the other half of the business, so yeah, way away from us. Pretty lucky. That's
good. So, yeah, we had 15 mil the other day, and I hate it. So I can't imagine the numbers that I was saying that they had up there is insane.
Just the rain just been so relentless. You've been a bit painful, and really kind of stuffs us around with that flow of work, and just being able to trying to get a bit of rhythm and momentum. It's absolute killer. It's helpful for the design jobs, right? A bit of time to get through them. Just being nice, but
yeah. So do you like always have a design on the go, or is it just?
There's always working through one. So I'll just kind of never. Before I was kind of do two at once, but it was just too hard, and just trying to manage time and stuff like that, and then probably dragging out a little bit too much. So just kind of work through one, and then just always kind of have some in the way, like as a waiting list and stuff like that, and try not to try to space them out a fair bit as well. Yeah, just kind of juggle one at a time.
And how far ahead are you booked out at the moment?
Generally like 3 to 4 months. Like I don't really like going too much further than that. Just like I haven't been able to kind of manage clients further than that. Like we'll just kind of book out to a point and then have like a waiting list, and then further than 3 to 4 months, I'll just see if people ask they want it done in like 6, then I'll kind of see them in another 3 anyway, meet them like halfway. Jeff found that generally works best for us.
Yeah,
find it a little bit hard juggling too many clients at once sometimes.
Yeah, but having 1 or 2 jobs on it that go is ideal. So if you got 2 on, something goes wrong on one, you can go to the other. But you don't want to have too many on. If you only got 4 guys, no point having 4 jobs on at once. Your clients won't be happy with that.
How do you go, Joel? Like spacing, like like I've heard on your other podcasts and stuff like that, you got enough work for like a year and stuff and everything. How do your clients go about waiting that long?
Most of them aren't too happy about it, but it's there's not much you can do about it because what I've started doing recently, like probably 6 to 12 months ago, I've stopped telling clients when we're going to start their job because I can't predict when we're going to start their job because the amount of there's a billion things that can change that time frame. One of my guys is I know you're planning for the public holidays, but we've got all these public holidays on at the moment. And one of the guys has hurt his back, so he was off all this week as well. So I didn't know that was going to happen, 9 months ago when I booked this job in. So you can't possibly know everything that's going to, happen. So there's no point giving clients even an estimate on when we're going to start because then they won't treat it as an estimate. They'll treat it as concrete. So you said you were going to start this date. I just tell them that we'll start when we can start. Like I'll say it's not going to be for 6 months or 9 months or however long. But I've got too far out now. I don't want to take any more on because prices go up and it just I'd rather like 6 months ahead would be a nice spot for me to be, I think. But it's hard because we're doing a lot of big jobs, so some of them take nearly 6 months to do.
You guys just it works, man.
Yeah, it doesn't big jobs doesn't mean big money.
I've definitely found that.
Yeah, but it can be. Well, it's like high risk, high reward. So there's there is money to be made there. You just got to be better than me at quoting them.
Yeah, I kind of found it was like we go right, and then it kind of gets to the end of the job, and then there's just all like the small little fiddly things that you need to like fix up, and just then that just chews into your profits just so easily. It's all that smaller stuff that you kind of you can't foresee.
Yeah, it blows me away how long it takes to finish a job. Like you seem like you're just about finished, and you think, we'll be definitely finished in one more day, and then there's just like 2 days worth of stuff, just all a heap of little things to do that but every single job is the same. Surprised me every single time, which it shouldn't because it happens every job. But and I say to the guys, and they're exactly the same. That like it seems like you're just about finished, and then there's still 2 days left.
Is a lot of your work through designs?
Yeah. So I've started doing more designs. So a few of them are starting to be my designs coming up, but so it might be 40%. Well, 30. They say maybe 33% my designs and 67 other designers. But I love doing other designers' work because they're better at design than what I am.
Right.
So that's it. Like the real plant people, it's just phenomenal working on their designs and seeing how good they look. And then the more we do it, then the more I'll learn about plants as well. So my designs will get better with experience. Like that's what I was thinking when you were saying your design course. It was a bit hard because it was online. I haven't done one, so I'm probably not the best person to comment on it, but I feel like design is one of those things. Doing it is the best way to learn it. And the fact that you're building them as well is a bonus too, because then you get to see what works on site. And then if you're going back there a year later to take photos, you're seeing again what's working really well and what's not. So how have you gone about? Do you track jobs to see if you're making a profit on them?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the way I end up for quoting and stuff like that, end up making a pretty extensive spreadsheet, and then once I do the quote, the job gets accepted. That spreadsheet just ends up getting transferred to the iPad, and I use that as like the costings, and then just kind of go through and update the how much materials are costing as I'm going and trying to track our schedules. So that helps a lot for tracking the jobs. Yeah, definitely go a little bit better now making money than we did in the first probably 2 years. But it's real comforting just hearing on your other podcasts and stuff like that, hearing a lot of other blokes saying like all their portfolio jobs and all the big ones, they're not necessarily the most profiting because it's definitely a bit comforting knowing you're not the only one. Yeah,
look, there can be. Like we did a commercial project, and I think it was about 300,000, and I reckon I think I made somewhere between 80 and 90,000 profit on that. So that was insane. I don't know where that went, but That's what my record keeping told me. But yeah, for every one of those, there was like 10 jobs I was losing money on smaller amounts. So, but yeah, so it does happen that you can make big money on the big jobs.
Like, running the business too. I just love the fact that we're just in control of our life. Like, if we're not making money, it's because of something I'm doing and can take responsibility for that. Yeah, and then just kind of break down like why is that happening and everything, and implement things to adjust it. So,
is that an app that you use when you're transferring across the spreadsheet to your iPad?
No, it's just Excel. Nothing too wild.
Yeah, that's more wild than me. Mine is pencil and paper, so that's pretty intense technology you're using there. Excel. Have you got any business mentors or landscaping mentors that you get advice from?
No, not really. I just love listening to podcasts. So listen to heaps of podcasts, read a few books and stuff like that. So it definitely helped me out. Thanks for your podcast, Joel. I just want to say thanks, because I love listening to it and definitely get a lot out of it. Before yours, I think I used to listen to Clint from South Australia, one of your guests. You used to listen to his one a while ago, but love it. So thanks a lot, mate. I really appreciate the effort you put in.
No, I was the same. Like, Clint doesn't do them regularly enough, so I do had to fill that gap. But yeah, still love listening to him. Like, I've been doing some stonework on the job at the moment, and there's like days and days of it, and I'll just sit there with my headphones on, just listen to the podcast the entire day, and then get annoyed when someone comes to talk to me because I have to press pause and take off my headphones. But yeah, I could the day goes like lightning. You get heaps done, and you're learning something while you're working as well. So it's
actually pretty similar with that job you were talking about before, the one with all the cladding in the tropical garden. Our first job, since that cladding was taking me weeks, and just the head noise was getting to me, just being in my own head about how long it was taking. I just felt like I was getting nowhere, about like 1.5 meters a day.
Yeah,
and that's something I started getting into podcasts, just a bit of conversation in my head, so I could just get out of my own head and end up helping heaps.
Yeah, I find myself doing that sometimes, though. Like, more so when I'm in the car, I find listening to podcasts, my head will be thinking about work stuff or whatever, and I realize I'm not actually listening to the podcast, and I'm just like going through stuff in my head. So what other podcasts do you listen to?
A business one, I really like The Mentor with Mark Boris. That one's really good. Obviously not landscaping based, but they definitely pick up a lot of business tips and stuff like that from other industries.
Yeah.
What's the other one? The Design Files. That's really good, about different types of designers and stuff like that.
Yep.
Something like doing sometimes it's just, if there's like a company whose work I really admire or designers, I'll just like type their name into Spotify and kind of sometimes will just pop up like random podcasts that they're on. So that's a great way of finding new ones. What other ones? And I listen to the Victorian Landscape Association.
Yeah,
they've got a podcast too. That one's pretty good. Really like that.
So did you say, are you a member of the New South Wales Landscape Association, whatever they're called?
Yeah, I've been a member for a couple of years, and then a couple of weeks ago joined the Australian Institute of Landscape Designers. As well. Nice. Just because I really like with the New South Wales one. I feel like I got a lot of value out of it. I was doing a lot of great webinars and stuff like that, so a good way to keep learning.
I was going to say, do you go to any meetings? But since you've joined, there probably haven't been any meetings in person. Yeah,
that's right. There was one the other week, but ended up working a little bit too late. But all the other ones have just been webinars, so been a little bit easier, but a little bit frustrating with COVID. So
yeah, because that's a good way to make contacts, is going to those type of events. I found that was one of my strategies when I wanted to start working on the bigger jobs, was to go to those events so you get to know all the designers. So
yeah, you got into working with the designers, going to the associations, stuff like that.
Yeah, yep. So what's coming up next year, or what are we in now, May, or later this year for the business? Are you just planning to keep going the way you are?
Yeah, pretty much. Like with having the 3 different sides and everyone having different personalities, kind of regularly try to sit down and have a proper kind of business meeting, make sure we're all kind of going in the same direction and got the same idea, because you can kind of easily kind of stay, everyone starts heading their own different way. All of us 3 of us go in the same direction, definitely get where we want to go a lot quicker.
Yeah. It sounds like you're doing well. And yeah, it blows me away how well some companies they're doing and how switched on they are at such an early stage. Like the fact that you've been only going 3 years is insane. I had no idea what I was doing after 3 years. It took me 10, I reckon, before I started realizing what I was doing. So it's awesome that you're doing, the job tracking and everything. So, well, good on you for doing that.
Oh, thanks, Joel. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, that's why I was probably a little bit shocked or intimidated when you asked me to come on. Just all the other people you have. So, yeah, crazy experience. And they got awesome business. So I was pretty shocked. Thanks.
No, thank you for coming on and sharing as well. Because, I've got no doubt there'll be people who are listening who have been going only a short amount of time. And, the fact that you're doing these things from the start is an awesome way to do it. So, well done for doing that. And thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story.
That's all right, Joel. Thanks for having me. And thanks again for making the effort to make the podcast.